Alright guys, Moses with Negron Tech here, and today I'm bringing you another banger budget, Suedo budget build guide. This time, all Intel version, nothing but Intel. We got the Intel GPU right here, we're gonna knock it out of the park. So this is actually gonna be a build guide and a step-by-step build featurette. Again, this is gonna be the how to build a PC in 2024 ITX Special Edition. Let's get into it. Now to start off, of course, we got to go with the Fractal Terra. This is going to be the premier, probably the most aesthetically pleasing ITX case. Look at that wood finish. It matches perfectly. Now to actually start off, this is going to be a PC build for my brother. I'm getting married this year, and not only am I the best brother by building him a PC all out of my own money, but this is also going to be kind of the best man gift for him. So hopefully he likes it. Way back in the day, he used to be into PC gaming. We used to take turns playing on like the PCs that you would get from Best Buy and swap and doing Total War. But yeah, I figure I'd treat him. This is a budget build, but I did go a little bit premium on some features when it comes to the case, the MOBA, and some other things. Getting right into it, guys. Ooh, real nice. First time I'm building this actually. So the side panels just come off super easily. You could just go to the bottom, do that. And then right here, and we get these side panels right off just like that. Now you do have the Terra accessories little case right here. You got some zip ties, Velcro, the motherboard screws, and you got a little thing for the SSD mount, even though I'm not going to bother with that as I'm just going with one M2. Looking at the inside, we got our front USB panel headers over here. We got that riser already routed through the back. That's very nice. Mobo's good to go. Oh wait, no, this is a sandwich layout. I'm sorry. So Mobo will be on this side. PSU over here. This is pretty nice, you know, very nice. You know, it's much more about the outside when it comes to the Terra compared to the inside, because you know you see so many of them, and if they're not custom cables, it's going to be a little bit messy in there, but we'll work it out. So after all the panels are off and you get rid of those little zip ties, you could probably keep the zip ties on. Probably stupid of me to take it off. But now we're going to adjust that spine by unscrewing all this. And we're going to find our favorited setup when it comes to CPU and GPU clearance. As we have the Arc 750, I believe it is 42 millimeters. So what's going to happen here? So talking about the spine, when we look at this little graph here that's in the instruction manual, my Arc 750, that's going to be for my brother, it's actually only 42 millimeters. So we can have the highest amount of CPU clearance up to 77, which is really nice. I have a whole bunch of low profile coolers that I want to test out, but just to be on the safe side, that 1 millimeter is kind of just not enough clearance. You might have some turbulence issues, so we'll just go with 2 on the spine method. Of course, I do recommend that before you even get into the MOBA, anything else, get that spine to the position that you need to get it into. So again, just make sure you actually screw it in. One thing to know is that I actually didn't have washers. I'm kind of not on that too. I'll fix that in a second here. But really simple. Just re-screw them in. If you're going to keep it in the middle, you can still keep those little orange plates as washers, I assume, but very simple process. So the directions do say next to remove the GPU bracket. I really don't know if it's necessary, but you got one screw here that you have to unscrew, and you got 2 little thumb screws that go in this hole right here and right here. If the directions say it, I think, you know, I've never built this before, so I'll listen to them. But in my experience with these ITX cases, you can just normally leave the riser in there set. This shouldn't be a big deal, especially with a small GPU. Now with that said, the case is pretty much prepped. It's pretty much naked right now. We do get one spot for a 120 mil fan, and I got an extra Lian LI SP750 that I'm hoping to put in there. Not sure if it'll fit. I do have some other fans that might fit in there, some spare ones, but when we get there, we'll see. Next up, it's pretty much putting the PC together. Gonna work on that motherboard, guys. And for the Mobo, we actually got a $109 B660. Now, the only issue with this is that it is only DDR4 compatible. There is no DDR5 compatibility, which is why we actually went with the 12400 CPU from Intel. But getting this quality of a motherboard, this is not a budget motherboard. I mean, if you look on PC Part Picker, and this is kind of a hard to find MOBA, but this ranges up to the $300 mark because it's like that, it's that rare. And it's just an older motherboard, so it's kind of hard to find these in the market. But, you know, back then, this is a very good quality motherboard. Look at those heat sinks. Ooh, very nice. And we're just going to get right into it, guys. We're going to go with the i5-12400. This i5 6-core CPU is going to do just right for my brother's limited productivity. And when I say productivity, I mean a whole bunch of Google tabs. And, you know, hopefully limited gaming. But this nice budget CPU ranges around 130, I believe. And again, I'm kind of limited to 1200 DDR4. And it's just the motherboard. I got this last year. So I'm like, you know what? It's such a beautiful motherboard. I gotta put it to use. It's gonna look so good. The silver Mobo and that silver Terra, guys. So we're just gonna unclip this right here. Get rid of that guard. Open that up. Beautiful. And we insert CPU. But yeah, just make sure you inspect the pins of the CPU and the Mobo. Orient that right. It's gonna fit right in there. And hopefully we get that nice pop, guys, when we press it down. Oh, there we go. Next up, we'll go with the RAM. I made sure not to really cheap out with my bro, so I got at least 3000 megahertz of speed, and I actually got 32 gigabytes, you know, just so I can just take care of him for the future. I don't want him to be struggling with just playing games and having like some stuff open in the background, guys. So here we are. So we got our undo these little locks right here, and then we're just gonna line up that RAM, guys. Normally, I don't know about T-Force, but normally the orientation of the writing will face you. And let's say it doesn't. No, that should fit. Should be perfect. Oh, no, not a little hair. What's going on here, guys? Sits right in there. Oh, yeah. Come on. Got both clicks in there. Got that lock-in. Got the auto clicks. Too easy, guys. And these, again, ITX, you always want to be cognizant, trying to get some low profile RAM. You never know. We are not going with AIO because obviously this is a Fractal Terra. We're going to go air cooling. But if you do have AIO, like my Lian LI SP750, definitely got to go some low profile RAM for that one. Next up, if you have an M2 SSD, then we'll go and install that right now. And we'll almost be done with the motherboard. I got the SN580 Blue. Obviously, we are Intel, so we had to get the Blue Western Digital. Just kidding. And what is this? Oh, wow. That is a chunky heatsink. Way overkill for this, guys. And these little screws are a pain in the ass on this Mobo, I'll tell you. Look at that. Woo! That is chunky. Way overkill. And obviously, make sure you get rid of this sticker, but leave that thermal pad on. Almost every modern MOBA is gonna have this, right? If you have the M2 on the front of the motherboard, not the back. The back, you'll normally have a naked M2 if it does have M2 on the back. But, you know, just make sure to take this sticker off and leave that thermal pad on, guys. Now, hopefully it's not too hard to see, but you can only really install this one way. You can't mess it up. On the mouth, let's just say that's the female portion of the M2 header. You're gonna install the male portion like that. There's only one slit here. You can't mess it up. And once you get it installed, it's gonna be on a little angle there. That's no big deal. Sorry about the angle there, but let's put a little bit of pressure. It's still in there. We put that heat sink back on. It's gonna sink right in there. Let's see. Perfect. Ooh. Take it back. Damn, Gigabyte, you guys did work with this motherboard. And then you just re-screw it in. And ta-da, you're all done, guys. The MOBA is that easy to do. It's really crazy. I love doing ITX builds because it's so simple, so compact, so sleek. But next step is going to be, it's always a choice, right? You can do your thermal paste now, put the CPU cooler on, or you can wait to put it into the actual case and then install it that way. Now, Intel is kind of unique because AM5 and some AM4 motherboards, you'll see the backplate is already installed. For this, it is, but we actually gonna have to do a CPU backplate, I believe, for almost the majority of CPU coolers. A lot of the times for AM4, the AMD variant, for these MOBAs, you'll actually just be able to just put the CPU, whether it's the AIO block or the CPU cooler, you'll just be able to actually connect it either to that crappy method the old ones do, or just screw it down, you know, like the Asus Ryujin that you can do. But let's see what CPU coolers we got. So for this build, we are going to go with the Noctua NH L9a for the 1700 socket. It is such a cute little CPU, and I say that unironically, guys. I mean, this is so tiny. Look at my hand. I'm not a big dude. I'm 5'10", 5'11". Holy crap. In comparison to the MOBA, like, it is so tiny, guys. Oh, Lord. But yeah, it's going to work perfectly. It's a 12400. Even though it is an i5, it has a very, very, very low power draw. It's not going to be overclocked. It's, you know, going to run it at mostly stock. And it's just gonna fit really, really, really well. So just did a little blob of thermal paste. Might have done it a little bit too much. And again, just always be aware that if it does have that plastic part, make sure you take that off. A lot of the times I'll have pre-applied thermal paste. Normally I just add a very teeny smooch of thermal paste if it does have thermal paste pre-applied, but this doesn't have it. Another quick note is that when you do go low profile, just make sure, and this goes with any CPU, always know where that CPU fan header. For this Gigabyte, it's actually going to be right here next to the CPU 8 pin for our CPU fan header. So just make sure that you don't actually make it hard on yourself by putting the fan over here and then it's not going to reach, you know. So we'll just go over here, so it could just go right over there, guys. Now every CPU installation is going to be different. For the LH9i, it's really simple. Put the CPU block, the heatsink right over the CPU, make sure that thermal paste is applied, and then you just use those 4 screws. Probably the most clean installation. Is kind of why I went with this one first. So it was just so easy to install, you know. Kudos to Noctua. And that's it, guys. Our MOBA is all set up. We got the CPU installed, thermal paste, CPU heatsink, both RAM sticks, the M2's in there. That's it. I even plugged in the little CPU. Look at that. It's so cute. It's such a nice little build. Hopefully my brother loves it. It looks so clean too, huh? And that's that. Next up is going to be back to the case. So before we install the motherboard, just make sure you actually locate which ones are your motherboard screws. Per the Fractal Terra user book, this is actually what we got. We got like 4 or 5 motherboard screws, got some SSD screw, and some other transport screws there. Oh, we're going upside down. Yep, the Terra, you actually install it upside down. I'm pretty sure, right? I don't know. I mean, that makes sense because the riser cable comes right there, plugs into there, and then it goes up under, and the GPU will face out. One thing to note is that this does come with a pre-installed I/O shield, and if you don't have a pre-installed I/O shield, do not forget to put that I/O shield first, guys, please. And it just sits in there nice and pretty, perfectly with those mounting screws. Wow, that looks good. So again, make sure you get that I/O shield. You see the screws are in there. Kind of hard to see all of them, but we get 4 here. Very nice and easy. Yeah, so next up, Fractal Terra does recommend that you put the front panel connectors on. I normally wait until the PSU and sometimes even the GPU to start doing the front panel connectors because I want to get a route. Well, I want to get a feel about how I'm going to route the PSU cables. But since we're already here and I have them unzip tied, this is only going to be the power switch, right? This only has the front power button. It doesn't have like LEDs too. That's why it's only these 2. You'll see this a lot in ITX cases. And then from there, go to your motherboard manual, the front panel header. We got the front panel headers, and you're going to look right here and it shows you what goes where. The power, the negative, the power switch. We have power SW, the front panel. So you have that empty spot here in that 10 marker. You go 1 here, 2 here. We have the 10 marker empty. So let's just say theoretically 8 is going to be the PW negative, and the 7, even though it's really not what it is, but you know, just for layman's terms to make it super simple, we'll have negative on that side, positive on that side. And you know, always refer to the motherboard manual. I know a lot of people get tripped up on this. It's not too hard, guys. So hopefully here's a better look at those front panel connectors. So for the PSU, I just got whatever was pretty much available at Micro Center that was affordable and had that was just SFX. They did have the Corsair SFX 750, but that's so overkill. And even this SP750, the branding right here, it's overkill too. But you know, it was relatively the cheapest one that was there. It's the only thing that's available. Now, this can be removed, the actual mounting bracket for the PSU, but for SFX PSU like this, it's just really easy to install. Like, to me, there's just no point to actually not do it. But you know, it is what it is. It should be this orientation actually. There's a line up there, and yes, it does. And then obviously just make sure that you do unzip tie the PSU actual cable. That's gonna go from your PSU to the actual power outlet to wherever it is. And most PSUs should come with your mounting screws, but Fractal actually, you know, per the manual, there's actually PSU screws up there, so you can use those if you want. Now, most of the time, I will connect my GPU power, those 3x8 pins. It's gonna be the 12 plus 4, the 16 VHP power. If you have the NVIDIA new series, the 4070 Ti's, the 4080, 4090s, right? Or the 3090 Ti, right? And then you have your CPU cable, which is gonna be the 4-pin. You can't see it, but it's actually right. Oh, nope. Where is it? it's going to be in this corner right here. Sometimes that's a, 4-pin. Sometimes it's a 4+2, 6+2. It varies from MOBA to MOBA. But you just need that, your 24-pin motherboard right here, and then you need to power your GPU, and that's all you need to get your PC up and running. A lot of people get confused, but that's really it. The SATA, the peripherals are only if you really have like RGB controllers, external hard drives. Well, not external, but the old SSDs. And that's really all you need, guys. It's super simple. So Lian LI, the SP750, they do come with sleeve cables. Pretty damn nice. And again, I actually don't know off the top of my head whether the 750 is a 2x8 pin or 1x8 pin, but I got 2 just in case. So we'll just start with the Mobo because it's the biggest one. Most PSUs, you're going to have this, and they're going to go into the Mobo route, all right? You really can't mess it up. I talked about this before in my last how to build a PC, but you have the CPU where it has these two that are actually not connected. And the reason why is because, as I said earlier, depending on the MOBA, sometimes you'll have 2x2, 4x2, it's weird like that. And then on the end that's stuck together, it's going to be PSU. They actually make these PSUs to where you can't mess it up. So if you feel like you're forcing it in and it doesn't feel right to you, then it might not be right. Double check, guys. So I put these in with the PSU already mounted. It wasn't too hard. And then another thing to know, if I did confuse you a little bit about the whole split ends and stuff like that, the 2+2 here time, which is 4, 99% of the time the pigtails are going to go to the MOBA too. So if you have little pigtails here, it goes to the MOBA, not the PSU, guys. All right, so on the MOBA side, we have our CPU and we have our 24-pin. Not going to do too much cable management now. I will say the Lian LI SP750, I hate that it's like this. My Loki does not have this pigtail. It's kind of really, really annoying. If this CPU heatsink was bigger, this would be much, much more of a pain in the butt to cable manage. Like you'd have to do this and do that to make room. This is always the biggest POS pain in the ass to actually plug in this CPU one right here, because you don't have a lot of ways to you really have to like evenly push it down. It's hard, but I wish Lian LI would do better with these connections. I'm not a fan of this PSU. But yeah, and then you do have your GPU cables. They're going to go under because it's a sandwich layout. They're going to go under through the back right here, and then they're going to go to the back side, and I'll show you that in a second. And then we'll figure out some cable management later. It's really not too bad. I will say the one positive about this PSU is that the cables are somewhat short. And, it just doesn't feel really good quality here, though. That is kind of a big issue. Like, let's see if we get some slack over here. And I'll show you guys a finished product later. But, yeah, so we'll put that back in. We got the one screw over there. And then we have the 2 hand screws, thumb screws, whatever they're called. Oh, yeah, it's time. The best part of any GPU build. Ooh! Look at that bad boy. The budget god. Not really, but, we support Intel. User Benchmark would be proud of us. But a beautiful, beautiful card. Holy moly. The A770 is actually looking really, really good too, because they have that RGB on the front, but really, really nice. Like, you guys, this finish. It's a beautiful card. And same thing. Make sure that's open and you install the GPU. Can't mess it up, guys. Only one way. And honestly, guys, that's everything. I kind of wish I got the black SP750, but Micro Center didn't have it. I got the white one, and the white one looks so... it does not contrast well with the rest of the build, or maybe it does. Let me know what you guys think. That's everything. It looks so good. The only thing we have to do is do some cable management. But it's super simple, man. I love doing ITX. I love doing non-RGB builds because it's so simple. It's so goddamn easy to create. Cable management's easy. If this was a better PSU without all the pigtails and stuff like that and gave it more varied options, or if you got your own custom sleeve cables, Cable Mod, Etsy Dream Big by Ray Mod, I think his name is, and then, got some other websites stuff too to make this really pop out, but what a breeze to work in. Wonderful, wonderful case. Holy. All right, and here's the finished product. Not much cable management, little zip ties here, little Velcro here. For you observant folks, you'll notice that I actually put the PSU in backwards, but I just fixed that. Took a minute or two, no big deal. But that's really, really it. That pigtails off to the side there. Velcro to the PSU cable. Nothing big. I do kind of wish these cables were black. It would fit in a little bit better, but that's really it. You know, the front panels, I just gave a little zip tie. Got some plenty of room from the actual side panel. I might tie these down right here and do that to keep that from interfering with the side panel, but I don't think we're gonna have any issues here. And that's pretty much it, guys. Super easy build. A couple notes, some difficulties. You know, always, as with a lot of builds, you might want to actually plug in the CPU cable into the Mobo before putting the Mobo in there, because it's just such a pain in the ass. PSU, it routes right here in like a little cable management route that Fractal Terra did, but it's like super tight with this frame. A little bit of a pain in the butt to put in, but no biggie. And then we got plenty of room here. I gotta say, if a fan was here, holy moly, definitely get custom cables. But besides that, real easy, real simple, nothing too crazy. And then from here, we just reassemble the case. We put the side, the top, and that's it. And make sure we power this on when we get the chance. And then, you know, where's my thing on the floor right here? Then you got your PSU actual outlet cable. All right, guys, Mobo and Negron Tech here, and that's a wrap. It's not a super analytical and in-depth approach to building a PC, but it's kind of a more brief guide on how to do it. I do have another build from 2023 that goes way more in depth about what ports on the Mobo, what purposes everything does, some different options that you can do with the ports when it comes to the fan hubs, AIO pumps, everything like that. But super quick, relatively quick, and easy to build guide. I'm a big fan of the Terra. As you can see, I built my brother a custom key 2. That's gonna be the Keychron K2. Beautiful keyboard, and just a beautiful case. I really do love it. Fractal did an amazing job. The only thing that can make this better, maybe if they increase the liters, maybe by 1 or 2, get a little bit more volume in here and get at least some AIO compatibility up to a 240, and that would probably make the case even more goddamn popular. But really amazing. And if you guys have any questions, again, I didn't get too in depth, but if you have any questions regarding the build, any questions regarding the components, how to set everything up, how to cable manage, how to where and what to actually do your connections, let me know in the comments. I'll be glad to answer it. Mobo with Negron Tech here. Hope you guys have a good one.